Hello, and welcome to Chapter 4 of the Adventure of Link video walkthrough. We are now done with Western Hyrule, and now that we have the raft, we can head to Eastern Hyrule. Basically, the Hyrule in general is divided into two massive-sized islands, and we've pretty much done everything we need to do in West Hyrule, and now that we have the raft, we'll travel across to East Hyrule. And in my opinion, this is where the game really picks up, because there are a ton of brand new enemies, more difficult enemies, and there's really a lot to do. Plus we can now navigate practically the entire overworld. So we want to head over to where the harbor town of Middle was, and we can now use our raft to get across the giant ocean. And now you'll immediately, once you walk around, you'll come into new scenes. Right away there's a bush right in the middle there, and we have new enemies here, and they don't have an American name really. It's just they're known as Gyrobakus pretty much, and some people label them as Digdoggers or Patra because their artwork very much resembles that of the original Legend of Zelda. There's a secret fairy location over there, so I got that. There's also another new enemy, or sort of a new enemy, and these are known as Tektites. We fought these in the original Legend of Zelda, but now we can't exactly hit them yet, so we'll come back to them in just a bit. Here's the next town, and it says, "Welcome to Nabooru." And talk to the townsmen because they have some funny things to say. I love this girl. "You must save Hyrule." I don't know, it's so like epic sounding. And this guy, he's got a pretty memorable quote. "With boots, I could walk on the water." I guess this guy is Jesus Christ here. We're actually going to be getting boots, and we are going to be able to walk on water. So that's a little later, after the following dungeon, but it's a sign of things to come. I like this little sequence here. Okay, there's a girl, and she says, "I am thirsty." So you just walk to the left, and oh, how convenient. A drinking fountain. Want to get some water? Yeah, sure. So Link picks up water, I guess puts it in his pocket, walks over to the girl, and she's delighted. "You have water? Come to my house." Let me get this straight though. She's patrolling back and forth in front of her house, yet if she just walked a little bit over, she'd see this drinking fountain, this water fountain, whatever, yet she can't do it on her own and she needs a Link to do it? Okay. Anyway, here's the wise old man here, and this magic will make your sword shoot fire. And it basically does exactly what it says. It's a fire spell that allows you to shoot fire from your sword. Just like the jump spell or the shield spell, it's only useful for that one particular screen you're on. And then once you leave the screen, you'll have to use it again. But it's very useful because we'll need it to defeat certain enemies. So, talk to more of the townsmen. "Jump in a hole in the palace if you go." It's like a little riddle, but it sounds kind of cool. This house is supposed to have a lady patrolling. I'm not sure why she's not there, but if I leave to the left and then return back to the right, there she is patrolling. Anyway, just talk to her and she'll let you in her house and she will fill up your life. Just continue along through Nabooru. You can talk to the rest of the townsmen. This lady here, she'll give you some advice that she tells you to visit a man in Darunia first, but we're actually going to go to the islands first because it's more efficient. But in this house there's what looks like an enemy, but if you are persistent, you can talk to her, and it says "find heart over ocean," and that's a hint of where a heart container is later on in the game pretty much, but we are still a ways away from that. So finally, we can leave Nabooru, and you can travel south, and now that we have the fire spell, we are able to defeat these Tektites. Now, if you recall, if you've played the original Legend of Zelda, Tektites were exactly like these creatures. They would just jump around, hop around the overworld, and Link, well, he didn't have a fire spell, but they're very good sources of experience points, especially since they're right next to the town of Nabooru. You can actually just go into these overworld sequences, use the spell, kill them, level up, and then if you ever get low on health or magic, just enter Nabooru and restore your health. Especially if you're not, I'm currently at level 5 for my sword and 6 for magic and life. And you should be somewhere around here by now. If you're not, you should do some leveling up, and this is a good place to do it. You can even go further advanced if you're having more trouble. This Tektite is actually giving me trouble, and it's forcing me to use my life spell because I'm running low on health. They could be a little annoying when they hop at you, especially if there's more than one. Just a little bit of practice, a little bit of patience, and you should be fine. Continue along to the east, and we have yet another brand new enemy. This is basically like a scorpion who shoots fire out of his tail. It doesn't have an official American name, but it's known as Aruroda in Japanese, and that has a similar name to the enemy Louders that we fought earlier, those guys that crawl around the ground and you can duck and hit them with your sword or use the downward thrust. So I think that they're sort of similar in a way. They resemble them in a way as they patrol the ground and move back and forth, but a lot of these enemies didn't have official American names. Continue along to the east, and we have more new enemies. Here we have levers that just come out from under the ground. And these ones are also just like their incarnations from the original Legend of Zelda. They're found in sandy desert areas, and they come from underground. And they each give you 10 experience points, and there's numerous ones on every screen here. So these are great ways of improving, just like the Tektites are. These are also good ways to improve your skills, basically, to level up to the next level. There's also these new types of Octoroks, and the main difference is they're a little bit stronger than their red counterparts. They take a few more hits. I mean, even with the upgraded sword, we have a level 5 sword, they still take 2 hits to kill. But still, they shouldn't give you too much trouble. And I've gone through numerous scenes here, and what's good, these levers also, they tend to give you magic jars on occasion too, but it's pretty nice because every single one of these scenes I'm getting almost like 100 experience points. Maybe not quite that much, but it's very good for leveling up. Just continue along to the east and you'll come across a little secret area here. You can use the jump spell to jump over, and then continue along and we'll get yet another points back. I've gotten numerous points back. I haven't actually mentioned them in the commentary, but I'm now already up to 1,800 experience points, and this is a good time to level up because we're going to be facing some tougher parts of the game in general coming up, so we want to level up. It's very important. This Octorok here is giving me some trouble for whatever reason, but just continue defeating these guys as you have. I mean, it gets a little repetitive because because this area is so narrow in terms of where you can walk in the overworld, you're bound to run into enemies. You can't really avoid them like you could normally, and there's no safe path. But because the enemies aren't too difficult, it shouldn't give you much trouble. I actually find using the downward thrust to be very satisfying, actually. But so just continue along. Finally, we can make our way out of this sandy area. We can head back to the town of Naburu if we really wanted to, where we can restore our health and magic, or we can just continue north to the caves. And we have these red aches, or Aikemans, whatever. There's a couple of them here at the beginning. Just defeat them normally. You can use the downward thrust. It works pretty well, actually. You can't really on this one, but that's okay. Continue to the right and we find another new enemy, and these guys are known as Zora, pretty much. They're different than the Zora we might be accustomed to in some of the 3D Zelda games, or the modern Zelda games, and they're also different than the River Zora from the original Legend of Zelda, but they are Zora nonetheless, and these ones are land creatures who can walk on legs or on all fours. But exit the cave, walk to the right, and there's a secret location here where we can get another Link doll, another free guy. Pick that up and then cross the bridge. And here we are, what is known as Maze Island. There's a lot of little scenes if you go through various paths here where you can fight new enemies. But walk to this area and you'll fall down a secret hole in a way. And here we have yet another new enemy. And these are known as Lizzlefoes, or the Japanese name is Geru. And Lizalfos is more the common name, and it's been adapted in future Zelda titles. It has the same ending, foes, as Stalfos, because they're very similar. They're sort of like in the same family of enemies. And this is a continued trend throughout the future Zelda games. There's Lizalfos, Dynalfos. In this game there are Stalfos, Armored Stalfos. And there's Arrowfos in Twilight Princess. But anyway, we found the lost child. I don't know how he got here, just randomly at the end. Follow the path exactly as I'm following, and this will take you through the least, well, no scenes at all. But if you step on this scene here, fall down the cave, and we can get a magic container. And this is our 7th magic container. And that'll do it for this portion of this chapter of the video walkthrough. Thanks for watching.